Hi, I'm Don from DonDronesOn, and welcome to my monthly report on my Starlink experience, which I've now had for 13 months. Spoiler alert, I love it. Despite what you're going to see, I love it. So, in this monthly update, I'll show you some cool new features in the app, then run through my usual performance metrics. Let's dive in. So the first update in the Starlink app was a bit of a surprise, especially since it came right at the beginning of April. Yep, the stow Starlink function suddenly had a bonus dislodge cats capability. It says, stowing will tilt your Starlink for storage or shipping. Stowing can also help dislodge any cats that may be napping on your Starlink. Ha ha, very funny. Nice April Fool's joke, guys. The second feature, okay, the only real new feature, is a cool Wi-Fi scanner built into the Starlink app. You activate it from the main menu, then walk around your house or property. As you walk, it generates this clever augmented reality display of your Wi-Fi performance, ranging from green for good to red for poor reception. When you're done, you can download the complete map, like this. And it pretty accurately portrayed my house. Oh, wait, apparently I live in a network of caves. So I did it again, walking more slowly and trying for more complete coverage. This time the map is, well, a bit better with more clearly defined rooms, but it still got confused at some point because my house layout isn't at all like this. It is only beta, but it's kind of cool. Then just for giggles, I switched to my Ubiquiti mesh Wi-Fi network. All those other ones were on the Starlink one, and did a quick scan around. Much better Wi-Fi reception, but the map is, well, once again, just kind of mush. So I encourage you to give it a shot. It's pretty cool. A few tips. Make sure there's plenty of light so the camera on your phone can track your location and not get the app confused. Walk slowly and go into every nook and cranny in every room. Oh, and make sure you're actually on the right Wi-Fi. The first time I did it, I was on my normal Wi-Fi, the Ubiquiti one. Anyway, it's a fun tool to play around with, and it works on any Wi-Fi network, as you can see here. By the way, it looks like Starlink is experimenting with their own mesh Wi-Fi boxes. They're not yet available in the Starlink shop, but it looks like they're sending them out to various people to test out. This will be a great addition to their product line, making it much easier for folks who aren't geeks like me to easily improve their Wi-Fi network coverage for larger properties. Another change in the app appears to be a bug. On the outage list, the most recent outages are now shown at the bottom of the list instead of the top. And on the PC version, the times are completely scrambled. I've reported both issues and they are looking into them. Pretty quick response to my ticket by their support team, by the way. Okay, on to the performance metrics. First up is dropout events per hour. I define a dropout as an outage over 11 seconds, enough to be noticeable on an MS Teams or Zoom call. So, some good news is that I've had to change the scale on the graph for this one, since the performance has improved so much since last year that the outages were now just a sliver at the bottom of the graph. April was pretty good, with 0.17 dropouts per hour, a bit more than one per typical workday. But this trend since January is going in the wrong direction. It's getting worse, especially for the green obstruction outages. Now, if you're wondering if the obstructions that I'm seeing are leaves starting to come out again on my trees, well, no, barely a bud in sight on those trees at least. What I think is happening, and it's just speculation, is that the Starlink algorithm for learning where the obstructions are isn't working very well, at least not for me. It used to consider a big chunk of my trees to the west as black, meaning more or less don't even try to see a satellite there. But now it has returned to red, meaning a simple obstruction. Now, come on guys, I think this system can be smart enough to not look in areas that appear to be permanent obstructions. You should just skip those. My second metric, it's total outage minutes per day. as reported by the Starlink app. Again, pretty good at 4.6 minutes per day on average. But this is the worst performance in the past 6 months. Well, if you ignore the big January outage. And on this metric, in addition to obstruction outages in green, there is a disturbing amount of purple, which is network issues. According to the app, a network issue is a problem between the satellite and the internet. So nothing to do with my trees, but really a problem receiving the signal at the ground station. Maybe it's time to dislodge all the cats at the ground station. I don't know. Next, let's move on to speed and latency. Again, sorry, it's kind of disappointing. The average download speed over the month was back down to 87 megabits per second, like it was in February. Okay, I say 87 is disappointing, but I mean, this is still fantastic for rural internet. Recall that I was getting 2.5 on a good day before Starlink. So yeah, 87 is great. No, it's fantastic, and only disappointing because I've seen almost twice that fast in the past. Now, the green line on this graph is the upload speed. Again, down a bit at 7.3 megabits per second average. Ping or latency, the dotted line, went up a bit, which is bad, averaging 50 milliseconds in April. Here's where the download story gets kind of interesting. The histogram that I'm showing here of the 81 speed tests that I did in April shows a big clustering of samples at the slow end of the scale, the 0 to 50. In fact, the median was only 63 megabits per second, meaning half of my speed tests were less than 63. The only thing that really boosted the average to 87 were a smattering of really high tests, 255 being the highest that I've seen this month. In previous months, there was a much nicer curve with a clear peak in the 50 to 150 range, indicating consistency and a reasonable distribution. This April curve, well, it sucks, frankly. Again, the speeds are still great, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to see a big candle like this in the 0 to 50 megabit range. Now, oddly, and thank goodness, the upload histogram is actually much better, with a nice peak in the 5 to 10 megs up range. That's a great improvement from the March distribution, even though the average speed was actually a bit slower, 7.3 in April and 7.7 in March. I really like this clear peak. It shows consistency and predictability. Well, that's it for my April Starlink report. I hope you found this video interesting, and be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for notification of future videos. And by the way, there's a Buy Me a Coffee link in the description if you'd like to support my channel that way. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.